ActionAid is an organization in Kenya, registered and governed in Kenya, and is part of a global federation working in 45 countries. We work with people living in poverty and exclusion, especially women and children, to change their lives for good. In Kenya, ActionAid has been working for over 40 years to tackle the root causes of poverty and exclusion that hold communities from actualizing their full potential. At the center of our human rights-based approach is the focus to enable people living in poverty and exclusion claim their basic rights as a means to achieving lasting change in their lives and community where they live in. Survival isn't enough. We help women and girls understand the power they have to change their own lives for good. We empower them to help themselves lead communities and fight what holds them back. ActionAid Kenya works in partnership with communities and their institutions, providing practical hands-on support, bringing more than short-term solutions as we work together towards building lasting change. Good governance and high ethical standards are critical to our work. ActionAid Kenya is governed by an 11-member board, in which 9 are elected by a 51-member General Assembly that is drawn from the Kenyan society, including communities we support. The board works closely with the Executive Director to oversee implementation of the strategic plan. In the last 5 years, we have worked with people living in poverty and exclusion, and in particular women, to take up leadership in their own communities, county, as well as at national level. We believe that women leadership is a way of enabling women to participate in decision-making on matters affecting their lives and transform leadership in the community and county levels. We mobilized women and girls through women's movements like Sauti ya Wanawake and Pambazuko la Wanawake Magharibi. These movements were initiated by ActionAid Kenya and started as small women groups with the aim of creating safe spaces for women. An empowered woman is able to defend herself and her children from harmful practices like female genital mutilation, child marriage, school dropout, wife inheritance, and property disinheritance. Girls are now linked to schools to realize their rights to education. ActionAid Kenya, working in partnership with Kenya Parliamentary Human Rights Association, mobilized women living in poverty and exclusion, their institutions and solidarity groups to engage with the Protection Against Domestic Violence Act that saw inclusion of expansion of protection measures to children, training the law enforcers, especially the police, on the law. ActionAid Kenya worked in partnership with Wangukanja Foundation and Africa Youth Trust to establish the SMS platform with the short code 21094 as a reporting mechanism used for incidences of sexual and gender-based violence. The Green Amendment campaign is pushing for a mechanism to realize the constitutional provision of the not more than 2/3 gender principle in representation in the National Assembly, Senate, and county assemblies as stipulated in the Kenya Constitution. Women for Land campaign that provided awareness on women land rights, existing land laws, and how women can use these laws to claim their land rights. Women are now better organized and are engaging their leaders through 6 women land chapters that later led to an upscale to 24 counties. As a culmination of the campaign, the women's demands and aspirations consolidated from the counties were presented by the women to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands to inform a national charter and adopted in an African-wide Rural Women Assembly on Rights in Arusha, Tanzania, where the demands were presented to the African Union to inform the African-wide policy on women and land.
Miradi ambayo ni mashinani haionekani, lakini kwa website inaonekana.
Tuelezwe pesa hizi za miradi hii zimetumika vipi?
With the advent of devolution, ActionAid Kenya has facilitated citizens to create their own spaces in an attempt to organize communities to engage their county governments through county citizens forums, established by the people to speak for the people and hold duty bearers accountable by seeking to ensure that citizens' rights, as enshrined in the Constitution, are safeguarded. The county citizens forums have effectively challenged unequal power, allowing the women to participate in public hearing representing their communities to ensure that the views of the people living in poverty and exclusion are included in decision-making processes. ActionAid recognizes that women suffer the worst impact of disaster as compared to men. They are hardest hit, take longer to recover, and are equally the first responders in emergency. ActionAid recognizes emergencies as opportunities to shift power and give women a chance to take on leadership roles. ActionAid's micro-irrigation schemes impacted farmers in addition to humanitarian support for people living in poverty and exclusion. Together with the communities, we tackle the underlying causes of poverty by creating livelihoods through agriculture, related rural businesses, and enabling access to water. We believe that with improved access to clean water to drink and enough food, they can access basic health care as well as generate income for improved livelihoods. This translates to increased access to education. We encourage communities through advocacy to work with their local governments to access their rights to health, water, and education by creating models that enable them to engage with the local, county, and national government. We have continued to engage our donors through immersions and field visits to interact with the communities that we support through the funding and donations. Our work has traditionally been funded by organizations such as UKAid, Danida, DFAT Australia, DFID, NISA Netherlands, and foundations such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Big Lottery Fund, IF Foundation, Urgent Action, and increasingly corporate and individual donors in Kenya such as the Safaricom Foundation, Techno, and KPLC, amongst others. There is still a long way to go for us. 1 in every 3 homes in Kenya still lacks access to clean water. All our children are still not in school, and 1 out of 4 girls and women continue to be survivors of FGM and gender-based violence. With your support, we can reach many more communities to enable them change their lives for good.